Hey guys, so this is a video on why you should count macros. Now there are a lot of articles around kind of telling you why you need to count macros, and there are a lot of videos telling you how to. I've spoken about this on podcasts before, I've blogged about it lots and lots and lots, but wanted to do this video because a lot of people are still thinking, well, why can't I just eat healthily? Why do I need to? Isn't tracking macros a bit obsessive? And also wondering about how to actually go about it once they've got these numbers that are supposed to be like the magical key to fat loss. So probably going to make this into a series of videos. This is going to be video number 1. So running through essentially why you should count macros and count calories and follow the ideas of flexible dieting rather than sticking to a meal plan and having a set list of foods. Because that does seem like the easier option. People like to think, oh well, I'll get this meal plan, it'll have 1 or 2 or 7, however many days worth of meals on, and all I need to do is follow that. That's great, and I get the idea that that's the easy way to do it. It's the method that involves the least thinking. But actually there are a few reasons why this doesn't work. One, if you actually end up going to eat out, if you go to friends' houses, if you run out of a certain food that's on your plan, then you're kind of stuck because you don't really know what to replace it with. So if your plan says that you've got to have 150 grams of chicken, 200 grams of sweet potato, and 2 large handfuls of broccoli, what do you replace that with? Is beef the same as chicken, or are you messing up the diet if you do that? Can you have green beans instead of broccoli? Is it alright to swap rice for your sweet potato? So it kind of gets confusing. It doesn't really teach you about what to do. So it's that idea of, if you teach a man to fish, he'll eat for a lifetime. If you give him a fish, he'll just eat for a day. A meal plan is the equivalent of giving a fish. Flexible dieting is you're teaching him to fish so he can make his own decisions. Secondly, you've got the idea that actually most people don't really want to follow a meal plan. It gets very boring and very repetitive. And also, if you hit a plateau, which is probably going to happen at some point during a diet, that's just inevitable, you will need to kind of reduce your intake. If you're on a meal plan, it kind of gets difficult. Do you think, well, I'm just going to cut out all my carbs, or I'm going to half what I have at meal 1, or I'm not going to eat any starches after 6 or anything like that. So it becomes quite restrictive. Now what flexible dieting does, while it takes a bit more time to get your head round and possibly a bit more time to plan each day, it gives you a lot of freedom. So there are no foods you can't eat. That's not to say you can stuff your face with junk and eat huge quantities of whatever you want. It doesn't work like that. You have to hit certain numbers, you have to hit your protein, carbohydrate and fat numbers. Or you may be doing like what I call the idiot's version of flexible dieting, which is in no way supposed to be derogatory, but it's just a simpler version where you track calories and hit a minimum amount of protein. But with that, there's no food that's off the table. You can guesstimate, you can be fairly flexible, you don't need to be weighing absolutely everything. So I'll say to people who are starting out, don't worry about weighing your vegetables, lean meats and stuff. You can kind of guesstimate serving sizes. You don't need to be that accurate. You can be within kind of 10 grams of your protein and carbohydrate numbers and 5 grams of your fat. So it gives a lot more leeway and flexibility. So you can stick to your diet when you're going out, you can drink alcohol on your diet, you can go to friends' houses, you can have a day where you maybe eat more carbs and less fat. You can have a day where you eat junk foods, provided you hit your numbers. You can have a day where you eat super clean and hit your numbers. As long as you are getting consistently fairly close to those numbers, and as long as you've got an overall healthy approach, then it makes it so much easier in the long term. You actually learn about nutrition, so in the end there's no real need for a coach. Whereas if you've got a meal plan, your coach isn't kind of giving you the whole story. They're telling you a list of foods, then wanting you to stick to those and not really helping you educate yourself on what to eat. So flexible dieting, it is, I'm 100% honest, it takes a bit longer for you to set up. If you're not used to it, it takes a bit longer to get your head round. But again, the idea of just eating clean has all the issues talked about earlier, plus the fact that a lot of foods we might consider healthy, so things like nuts, salmon, olive oil, are potentially healthy. They've got some benefits, they might be full of certain nutrients and whatnot, but at the same time they can be high in calories, which isn't a bad thing. But if you have 200 grams of nuts every day, a salmon fillet at one meal, you cook all your veggies in coconut oil, you're probably going to be eating about 150 grams worth of fat, which is 1,350 calories, which for most people is probably too much fat to be eaten during the day. Again, eating healthily, but you're going to be massively overshooting your calorie targets, and it doesn't matter how healthy you are, if you're overshooting your calories, you will get fatter. So hopefully that's kind of giving you an idea as to why flexible dieting, tracking macros, IIFYM, whatever you want to call it, is the way to go. Yes, it takes longer, but there are a lot of myths associated with it, mainly in regards to how precise you have to be. And yeah, there are times where you do need to get precise, but most of us can just be kind of 90% accurate 90% of the time and we'll be okay. So hopefully if you're on the fence about it, thinking it all sounds like a pain in the arse, that's cleared some of it up. I'll be back with another video very soon about how to actually set up your numbers and get going with it. Cheers guys.